Hello everyone, I am Razorblade Mango, and I am here today to talk about the final film in the Hobbit trilogy. The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. Now, just to be clear, if you haven't read the book, really have no clue what's going to happen in this one, I am going to reveal some spoilers about what happens, so if you don't know what happens, don't listen to this review because they're pretty big. So, fair warning: if you haven't read the book, if you wanna, or actually, if you haven't seen the movie or if you haven't read the book, don't listen to this review. So, here we go. I gotta say, I was a little skeptical about this movie. As much as excited as I was. I was sort of worried about it because I felt like it was going to be... I was worried it was going to be the same thing as the Desolation of Smaug, whereas the same problems I had with that movie were going to apply to this one, where it was just this... I mean, I like it. I still think it's an interesting movie, and a kind of a good movie, but to me, it just feels very... clunky and overly long and dull. There's a huge point in the middle where it's just flat out boring. Where Jackson spends way too much time with Lake Town and the politics that go on there, and that shit goes on and on and on forever and ever and ever. But Battle of the Five Armies, I was like, okay, well, considering that it's only 2.5 hours, and it's mainly going to focus on the Battle of the Five Armies, which of course is the big epic battle between the goblins and the orcs and the elves and the humans and the dwarves, and it's huge. So I was like, okay, we'll see if this film improves. I hope it does, because I'm looking forward to a satisfying ending for this trilogy. But we'll see. And it turns out this was actually a really good movie. I really liked it. I think I'm probably in that minority that still thinks an Unexpected Journey is by far, by a huge margin, the best of the Hobbit trilogy. And even that is still not as great as the Lord of the Rings, any of the Lord of the Rings movies. Probably my biggest problem with The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, is that it exposes a lot of Peter Jackson's tendencies, a lot of his negative tendencies, and you could probably you could label them directing style, a directing style, but to me it's he overplays a lot of his cards. It's for example, whenever someone dies in any of these Middle Earth movies, there's always that whenever more specifically, whenever somebody gets stabbed in the stomach, they have that moment in Fellowship of the Ring when Frodo gets stabbed by the cave troll, and it goes this slow thing where it's oh, oh, and all the characters have to dramatically stare at Frodo, and it kind of goes to a little bit of slow motion, and Frodo makes the whole oh noise when he's got that big spear in him. And they have a moment like that in Battle of the Five Armies. Someone gets an important character gets stabbed pretty brutally, and it's the person has that moment where it's oh. And someone looking at that moment has that someone looking at that person has that moment where that person oh, and it the camera zooms in on their face, and it's a dramatic shot, and then you see tears come down their eyes, and it's silly. it's really silly because they use that card over and over and over again in this movie, and it's okay, it's all right, Jackson, I get it, okay? This is supposed to be a dramatic death sequence. I get it. Trust me, I really do. I also really didn't another thing I really don't care for in this movie is how epic it is. And that may sound like an odd complaint, But to me, there's the good kind of epic where it's like in Lord of the Rings and Unexpected Journey, where it's these vast landscapes and you're just allowed to like look at them and it's so beautiful and wonderful and amazing. But Peter Jackson, there's that super iconic moment in Return of the King when Legolas takes down like that one elephant and kills all the riders on board. And that's easily meant to be like this enormous crowd-pleasing moment. And my problem, like, as much as I love that scene, and I do, that scene works because it's like one huge moment in this movie where some of a lot of the battle sequences are like they feel down to earth and they feel gritty. They don't feel like cartoons. But that one moment where Legolas like takes out, like, it just goes full on badass and takes out the elephant, it's like the peak of what his character can do. And it's like, okay, this guy is a total fucking badass. But the problem with that scene, that kind of scene in the Battle of the Five Armies, is that Jackson uses that over and over and over again, and not specifically in that way, but moments like it, to where it gets kind of dull after a while. It's like, okay, that was cool the first few times, but they do it over and over and over again. It becomes like a video game. And not in a good way. It's like, I don't go to Battle of the Five Armies to watch video game physics. I want to see these cool, like, gritty, down to earth battles where it's like huge epic fights and all that. I don't want to see it become like the Legolas show where he just does all these ridiculous stunts, where he's basically like the Sherlock of the Hobbit universe, where he perfectly times everything and everything just goes his way. It's like, that shit gets so old, and it's just like, oh my god, dude. It's like, please, stop. Just stop. You've overplayed that card so many times, and it's like, alright, seeing him, like, flipping and falling, flying all over the place, I mean, that was cool in Return of the King, but not so much here, dude. You gotta chill that shit out. And another problem that carries over from Destination No Smog is pointless characters. The biggest sin is this, like, if you remember, like, the Master of Lake Town had that one, like, sniveling sheriff, which I don't even know why that character exists in this trilogy, because he's totally fucking useless. He's like a big supporting character in this movie, and he does jack shit. Like, all he does is just be an asshole. And Jackson apparently finds that worthy of attaining screen time. I just want to, like, go up to Jackson and be like, if I ever had the chance to interview Peter Jackson, I'd be like, dude, my first question would be, why include him in the movie? What purpose does this guy have? That's it. What purpose does he have? He's literally like the butt of a bunch of jokes, and they're funny. They're funny. Like, again, he overplays it. He uses the same shtick over and over again. It's funny the first time, but it gets old so enormously fast to where it's like, okay, dude, you have really outstayed your welcome at this point. Time to go. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. And it's like, it just becomes irritating. It no longer becomes entertaining. It just becomes annoying. And I'm like, why couldn't we have gotten more screen time with, like, one of the other characters instead of, like, this asshole? I don't know. I asked Peter Jackson, someone please. I hope, like, when the extended cut comes out, they have a huge featurette of Peter Jackson explaining what fucking logic was behind the decision to include this guy in the movie. I mean, he should have died. He should have died at the beginning of the movie. He should have died. Why couldn't he have died? Another thing, what's her name? Tariel? The one played by Evangeline Lilly. Tariel, I think her name is. She's useless. I'm sorry. Like, I know they created her specifically just to be, like, a strong female character, but there's really nothing about her that I'm kind of like, oh, she's a strong female character. To me, she's just another, like, doughy-eyed love interest for, like, in the middle of this dumb love triangle between Legolas and whatever the fuck the other dwarf's name is. Whatever. She doesn't do anything in this movie. She just stands there and, like, stands there with, like, doughy eyes, like, with her lip quivering, with tears coming out of her eyes. It's, like, the most stereotypical, like, not exactly damsel in distress, but, like, damsel-y shit I can think of. And it's kind of like, it's detrimental to the point that Jackson is doing, where he's like, oh, I'm going to create strong female characters. Because apparently, like, I guess people, like, raised a fucking hellstorm when, I guess, Arwen wasn't considered a strong female character. I guess, what's her name? The Theoden King's niece wasn't a strong character, even though she fucking took out the Witch King by herself, basically. I guess that to me, she was a much stronger female character than this Toriel elf is. She's just totally useless. And by the end, it's like we are expecting her to have this moment where she's like, oh, well, I'm going to, like, perform noble deeds and be awesome. And it's like, not really. She really doesn't have that moment where it's like, yes, she is awesome. Legolas has that moment. Fucking Bilbo even has that moment. She does not. Alright? She doesn't. So, I don't understand why she was in this movie at all. I don't understand why there was, like, this dumb love story in the middle of it all. Even though it's totally fucking useless. And apparently it's only there just to provide some, like, closure to a completely different minor character arc, I guess. I don't know. It's dumb. Alright? It's totally fucking dumb. And my final complaint, I mean, it sounds like I'm talking just all shit about this movie, but I will get to the good stuff, is that this movie is funny. And I don't mean like written well comedy funny. I mean, like, it can get so goddamn silly at times that it's hilarious. There's a scene where Thorin is, like, hallucinating that, like, the voices in his head are tormenting him. And it goes on for, like, a good 2 or 3 minutes where it's just, like, these internal voices are, like telling him, oh, you're not your grandfather. You are king under the mountain. You are this, and oh, I'm Smog, and you are this, and that, and that, and this. And it's like, okay, Jackson, we get it. He's tormented. Okay? He's having internal conflict. We get it. You don't necessarily have to, like, audio file the fucking internal conflict, alright? So that goes on for a while. And then, like, the climax of that scene is Thorin imagining getting swallowed by, like, this liquid gold, which the effects for it are so shitty, where it looks like pudding. And I thought that was one of the funniest parts of the movie, not in a good way, where it's just so goddamn silly that it's funny. And there's, like, my favorite, like, unintentional comedy moment. It would be a huge spoiler, but let's just say that if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series, the moment I'm talking about that's in The Hobbit, this movie, it's going to remind you of, like, one of the best bits of the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series. It's hilarious. And I was, like, giggling in my seat. And it's supposed to be, like, a powerful, sad moment. And I just thought it was funny as hell. Oh yeah, and there's a moment where, like, Thorin, like, Bilbo's talking to Thorin, and Bilbo's like, hey, you need to part with the gold. This is not worth your life. And then they have this thing where, like, Thorin, he starts to get, like, become like a dragon almost, where he's like, I will not part with a single gold piece. And I expected him to basically just have, like, a complete metamorphosis and turn into a fucking dragon at that point. or like have a fucking orgasm and just jizz all over the screen or something. That's what it looked like. Looked like he was getting off on the fact that he wasn't gonna part with his treasure. That was funny as hell. I'm sorry. That was hilarious. But how is the rest of the movie? The rest of the movie is pretty damn cool. The Battle of the Five Armies, I felt like it could have shown more of the actual like battle, especially when you get some of like the supporting characters involved. But they show enough, and it's like, okay, this is pretty cool. There actually is like stakes on the line here, which they emphasize over and over again. Like this battle is like one of the most important things to happen in Middle Earth history, and you can actually feel it. It's like cool, awesome. Like there are actual stakes in this, unlike the last movie, where that whole battle at the end when they're in the mountain and they're having like that gold mountain slide shit. That was stupid. Like this movie, at least the battles feel somewhat gritty, somewhat more realistic. And the monsters that are shown are actually pretty awesome. There's like trolls. There's these things called the Earth Eaters, which we never really see again after one scene. Also, Billy Connolly has a really funny role as Thorin's cousin who comes in like join the fight. It's really funny. That's one of the good funny parts. The effects are also really impressive as always. It's Weta Workshop. They're always going to be impressive. Probably one of my favorite moments of the movie, and again, spoiler alert, if you haven't read the book, is Smaug's death scene, because they change it a bit in the movie, a lot actually, they change it to where, like, the bird doesn't tell, Bard that, oh yes, he has a bare patch on the side of his left breast, or something like that. And this time it's like Bard knows about it, so he has to like do this big action scene where he's jumping across the rooftops, and he has to climb to the tower to stop Smaug, and it's so fucking satisfying. I don't know about you guys, I was immensely satisfied by that whole scene, where Smaug just looks at him and he's like, "And how are you gonna challenge me, useless wretch?" And then he's like, "You will die!" And he like charges in for the kill, and then Bard just like fires that arrow. It goes right into Smaug's thing, and Smaug has this big dramatic death scene where he flies and he's like, ah, and you literally see like the life go out of his eyes, and he just falls to his death, and it's so fucking cool. Like, if we were in a more energetic theater, I would have applauded. It was just so fucking cool. Another thing I really liked is the moment when like the White Council comes in and they rescue Gandalf from Dol Guldur. Where like Radagast comes in, Elrond comes in, Galadriel comes in, fucking Saruman comes in, and you actually get to see like maybe like the full extent of their powers. Like you get to see Galadriel be like this ultra badass. Radagast even has a cool moment. Elrond is a badass. Saruman the White, holy fuck! Oh my god, he is so badass. Can I please just see a movie where it's like the White Council going out and kicking ass? I mean, it's so fucking cool. Like seeing these legendary, like within the mythology, these like legendary beings. You get to see them at the full extent of their power, and it's so awesome. It's like, oh my god, please show more of this. This is fucking epic as hell. And also, like, the fights with Thorin versus Azog, that was actually really cool, even though that gets really stupid as well. Apparently, one of the other orcs is a main villain now, I guess. So he has to have this huge, long, extended fight sequence that goes on for an hour. And it's cool, but it's like I said, that's part of my problem with Legolas's character. But I like that there actually is, like, because I felt like the way they did, I love the Rankin Bass cartoon, one of my problems with that is, like, probably one of my only problems with it is that I never felt like Thorin's like descent into madness and greed in that movie really felt authentic. It was like so quick and so sudden, where it was like oh, he's just immediately going to turn into an asshole now. But at least with this movie, they hint that he's going mad for the gold in the second movie, and now it's like you actually get to see him like freaking out, and he's like, you will find the Arkenstone, hurry up, and it's like, it's a good dramatic performance, even though it does get really fucking cartoonish at times. I also really like that they're actually like it's like you see it without Jackson inserting the obvious like internal conflict monologue shit. It's like you actually see like conflict in Thorin's eyes, and you see him like become a totally different person. That to me is some damn good acting. Where it's what's his name? Richard Armitage. He's really good in that movie. Martin Freeman is great as Bilbo. He was so perfectly cast. Ian McKellen is always awesome as Gandalf. Benedict Cumberbatch, of course, with like he has a very small role in this movie compared to the second one, but like his dialogue is cool. Even like Evangeline Lilly, who, like I said, isn't like that good of a character, her performance is good. Lee Pace as the king of the Wood Elves. There's actually like there's some good moments with him where he has to express like pain and like you actually like you get the good sense that the elves are fucking arrogant as shit, and it's like it's really cool. But overall, also like the art design are great. Another like one of my biggest disappointments with this series, and not necessarily like they're bad things, but they're just not as good as Lord of the Rings. Like a lot of things in these movies, where it's I'm about to say Hans Zimmer, where it's Howard Shore's music, which I don't think, while it's good and it sets the tone perfectly, I don't think it's anywhere near as good as anything from like the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. It really, there's no iconic music from these movies, which is one of my biggest disappointments with them. But you know, like I said, it's a fun movie. It is flaws and all. It's a fun movie. I'm glad it's over. I never thought I would say this, but I'm glad it's over because I was worried that this trilogy would be totally like bloated and elongated, and I was sort of right. But you know, if this is like the final movie and then like anything until they reboot it like 50, 60 years later, so be it. You know, it's good. It's really fun for what it is. I mean, it's not great, but I still like. I would I recommend this movie? Yeah, sure, I totally would. It's a lot of fun. It's better than like a lot of the summer blockbusters, and a lot of these like fall blockbusters that come in. I would rather sit through this like 5 more times than watch Interstellar again. Or fucking actually, I'd rather watch this than like Guardians of the Galaxy or something. What was the other Marvel movie that came out? Oh, Captain America 2. Yeah, I'd rather sit through this than the other 2 Marvel movies. And I like the other 2 Marvel movies. But I felt like just this movie had much more going on, and there was just much more stuff like thematically that I was interested in compared to the other stuff. But it's a really good movie, and I liked it a little bit more than I thought I would, especially when compared to the second one, which I watched again, and I think that movie is just a pacing nightmare. But yeah, it's really good. You should go watch it. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about The Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies. Was it a satisfying conclusion to the Middle-earth saga? Or do you think Peter Jackson is just like has really just milked it for everything it's worth, and you're done, you're exhausted, you're tired? So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Have a good one.